Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. We are taking a look today at the New York Rangers. Are they rebuilding, or is this still a retool? We're going to be taking a look at that in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and even bigger subscribe down below. Let's take a look at the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the Rangers today, guys. Are we still calling this a retool, or is this a full-on rebuild with the New York Rangers? Now, some of you may make the argument that they are not doing that bad in the standings. They seem to be okay, and, they're still in the chase. Well, yeah, no. I'll get to that. So, looking at where the New York Rangers sit in the standings right now, based off of point percentage, they're only 2 points back of the New York Islanders, who have the last playoff spot in the East Division. Not to mention, the Islanders also have played one less game than the New York Rangers. Now, here's the more concerning thing if you're a Rangers fan. If you look at the two teams below the New York Rangers, they have 1 point less than them. Both the New Jersey Devils and the Buffalo Sabres. And the concerning thing is, both of those teams have not played for the past 2 weeks due to COVID protocol. The Devils have only played 9 games this season, 4 less than the New York Rangers, and the Buffalo Sabres have only played 10 games, which is 3 less than the New York Rangers, and they're both only 1 point behind the Rangers. So, the Islanders and the Penguins aren't that much farther ahead of the New York Rangers, but even the teams behind the Rangers, there's still some concern that as the season goes along, they will be better than the Rangers. So, the Rangers, looking at their point producers, this is the next thing we have to get to. Artemi Panarin leading the way with 15 points this season. He's doing quite well. Pavel Buchnevich with 8 points right behind him, but there's a big gap there. Then you got Adam Fox, 7 points. Then you have Ryan Strome with 6 points. Philip DiGiuseppe with 5. And now you've got guys like Kreider, Rooney, and Lemieux, each with 4 points. Keandre Miller has 4 points. Then you've got guys like Capo Caco and Hedel with 10 points. Zibanejad with 3 points. So, you see what I'm getting to, right? The top names we should be seeing here. Panarin, that's fair. But why does a guy like Zibanejad have 3 points? Capo Caco, 3 points. Chris Kreider, 4 points. Do I need to talk about Alexis Lafreniere, who has 1 point still? That goal from Pittsburgh. Right. You see the problem here, right? They're not scoring enough. And what I don't want to get to is we're comparing here very early in the season, but it's still 13 games into the season. We're 25% of the way through the year right now. And the New York Rangers, there's some troubling signs here. Brett Howden has as many points as Brendan Smith and Tony DeAngelo and Anthony Bitetto. What? So, the Rangers are not getting enough scoring from the big guys. Like I said, Lafreniere. Even on the back end, a guy like Jacob Trouba, who they're paying a decent amount of money. Trouba, Zibanejad, Capo Caco, former second overall pick. This is his second NHL season. Chris Kreider with 4 points. Panarin's doing well with 15 points, but where's everybody else? And the even more concerning thing is when you look at goaltending, it hasn't been that great. Alex Georgiev with an .891 save percentage and a .321, 3.21 goals against average. That's not that great. And Igor Shesterkin's numbers have not been that much better. He's got a .922 save percentage and a 2.16 goals against average. So those are better stats overall, but the team's still losing games. And what I'm concerned about with the New York Rangers is people still with the mindset that, going into this year, there was a lot of Ranger fans, a lot of people I know that were expecting the Rangers to make the postseason this year. You've got the team built, right? You've got the goaltending now with Georgiev and Shesterkin. You've also got the first and second overall pick in the last consecutive drafts. And you've got guys like Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, Ryan Strome, who had very impressive seasons last year. And a lot of people, including myself kind of joining that, felt that the Rangers overachieved last season. Now, I don't want to put them in the same category as the Vancouver Canucks, because the Canucks are way, way more off. But the Rangers, in the East, if you could put a team that maybe you were expecting to do better, honestly, it was the Rangers. And the same kind of thing in Vancouver. Now, like I said, I'm not comparing the Rangers to Vancouver, but there are similarities. You've got a young team that, is going to go through some growing pains. They may have overachieved last season, but they've got, there was a lot of uncertainties in between the pipes for the Rangers and the Vancouver Canucks. The Vancouver Canucks move out Jacob Markstrom. They're going to rely more on Thatcher Demko, and they bring in Braden Holtby, who struggled last season. The Rangers, we know this tandem worked last year, but they're still very young. And then comes the question about behind the bench. Travis Green in Vancouver has had some issues with his group, and there's been questions about him being a good coach or not. And the same questions have been all around for a guy like Jeff Gorton, who has been the New York Rangers head coach. And ever since week 1 and even my preseason previews of the New York Rangers, I had my concerns about David Quinn. It's not Jeff Gorton. What am I saying? David Quinn. David Quinn as the head coach of the Rangers. And we may be seeing that right now. He may be the next to get guillotined in New York, because I think there's just a couple of things with David Quinn that we've seen, that haven't worked. Vitaly Kravtsov playing well in Russia. A lot of that had to do with his relationship with David Quinn. Not to mention other guys like Tony DeAngelo, potentially. There's been some things that have come out. And I'm not saying David Quinn is a bad coach. I think he can make it work for a team. I think he'd be a good next head coach in Ottawa. If they don't stick with DJ Smith this offseason and the Rangers let go of Quinn, he's a good coach for that, those younger teams. But the problem is he doesn't always play those youngsters. And that's why we saw Elias Anderson leave. That's why we saw Vitaly Kravtsov leave. So there are some concerns in that regard. Even Filipino, he had some issues with the head coach. So, now we're seeing Lafreniere's minutes start to get diminished. He was playing on the top 6 for a long time, but that top 6 hasn't been working out. Now he's playing less minutes, and now his point production is still the same, and he's going to be getting less ice time. His confidence is going to get hit a little bit. So the Rangers, I'm not concerned. I think it's just part of the growing pains. And the New York Rangers are used to the success that they've had for the past 2 decades, really. And it doesn't work that way. When you move out guys like McDonough and Callahan and Zuccarello and move on from Lundqvist, there are going to be growing pains from the young guys that you put in. Keandre Miller playing over 20 minutes a night on the back end as a rookie. There's a lot of responsibility on younger guys where they're going to see some inconsistencies in their game, where they're learning the pro level, on the fly. So, do I think the Rangers can make the playoffs? It's still early in the season, but it is still 25% of the way through, so we have enough of a sample size to kind of see where these teams look through the first part of their season. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What is the Rangers' biggest issue? Is it the fact that they're not scoring enough goals from guys like, Mika Zibanejad and Capo Caco and Chris Kreider? Or do you think it's more about the goaltending and the defense? I think the defense going into this year was their kryptonite. I think Keandre Miller coming in has definitely made things alleviated. But imagine they didn't have Keandre Miller. This defense would be in a heck of a lot of trouble. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and even bigger subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.